Do not attempt to adjust your radio.
This your boy.
You're about to enter the Jay Stevens Radio Show. Bringing you real radio as we discuss real issues and have real interviews presenting radio with a purpose.
This your boy.
And without further ado, I present to you
Your boy Jay Stevens. What's up, everybody? You got it locked on Jay Stevens Radio Show. I am your host, Jay Stevens, and we have a friend of mine. Oh my God, I love this lady. She is the bomb. She goes by the name of Nina Domingue Glover. What's up, Nina?
What's up?
Man, I'm so glad you was in the building, man. Oh my God.
It's good to be here.
Yes. I am so glad you are here. Could take time out of your busy schedule to come hang out with us on Jay Stevens Radio Show.
You know I got you.
I appreciate it. So let's dive right into it.
Let's do it.
What is going on? What do you have on your plate? First of all, because, which is really ridiculous for me to say, some people don't know who you are. So can you please tell them who you are?
Sure. My name, like Jay said, is Nina Domingue. In my real life, I'm Nina Domingue Glover. But on stage and screen and film and radio, I'm Nina Domingue. That's my professional, incognito
Yes.
name.
Yes.
But I'm an actor. I've been an actor for about years now. And
She covered her mouth. It wasn't muffled. She didn't want to say her age. So she rolled on.
Exactly. As far as you all know, I'm 29.
29. And look every bit of it.
Thank you. I receive it. But I've been acting for about 25 years. I'm also a playwright, a producer, and a director. So yeah, that's me.
So you said something that I want to just ask right out the gate. You said, I am an actor.
Yes.
You didn't say actress.
No.
Why not?
Because I don't care. It's not really that deep for me. There'll be times when I make that designation, and they'll be strategic, usually, but yeah, it's not that deep for me.
It's not that. And the reason I ask is because, we live in a society where things are kind of getting away from gender-based titles, and I noticed that a lot of females don't say I'm an actress, I'm an actor. So don't put the female letters on the end of who I am. So is that like a thing in Hollywood or not just Hollywood, in the acting world? Is it just, hey, we're all actors?
I think it's personal preference, but I think the profession is acting, and we're actors. I think there are times when it is appropriate to make the designation, but most of the time I just say actor because I'm not thinking about it.
Okay. So it's not an offense if
not at all.
a person
Not
says
to
to
me.
a female, "Hey, this is
To
actress,
a woman,
such and such."
I'm about to school all y'all. To a woman.
Come on, let them know.
To a woman. And now that is something I do call people on all the time, saying woman rather than female, because chickens can be female, dogs can be female, frogs can be female, cows can be female, but saying woman as opposed to a female acknowledges your humanity.
Okay.
And a lot of time, and I know it's cultural, and it's this is where I grew up, and this is what we say around the way and all that kind of thing. But I think once you get to a certain age, you can be mindful and you can think about it. And calling someone a woman versus a female speaks to their humanity.
Wow.
Calling them
you just educated me on something.
Calling someone a female only speaks to their ability to give birth.
Okay, and everything that is in existence can give birth.
Yeah,
that's a female.
Yeah, pretty much.
So there's a distinction between a female and a woman.
Yeah.
Wow, you have just educated me and my listeners on something, and I appreciate that. No, for real, because you want to be correct. You don't want to be disrespectful when you're talking to someone.
Absolutely, and I don't like jump down people for like, you don't call me no female, whatever. I grew up in the lower ninth ward of New Orleans.
Okay.
I heard that all my life. But now as a woman who is a wife and a mother, that's one of the things that I talk to my boys about and my girls. I have 5 kids. I have 2 girls and 3 boys. It's like when you're able to kind of ignore the humanity of a person. It's easier to disrespect them. It's easier to treat them without equity and compassion and empathy. But saying woman, because women don't walk around saying these males up in here.
Right.
You don't hear that.
Well, they say sperm donor. Yeah, how your sperm donor doing?
Well.
I don't have a sperm donor. I have a baby's father. Well, I got a sperm donor.
Oh my God. I can't.
So,
I cannot. I'm unable to can.
So coming from the streets of the Ninth Ward
yes,
in New Orleans,
the Lower Nine. Mm-hmm.
You have been all over the world.
I have.
So your gift has taken you around the world.
It has, yes.
Have you had a lot of fun on this journey?
Absolutely. It's not something that, like now, being in New Orleans and being an actor is a thing, because New Orleans, Atlanta, that whole corridor is called Hollywood South. Most of the black TV shows are being filmed down there, between the two cities.
Yes.
But when I was coming up, that was not a thing, If you told somebody you were going to be a visual artist, yes.
Okay.
If you told somebody you were going to be a musician, yes, because it's very arts-filled and friendly city.
Absolutely.
But theater was not a thing, necessarily. So people are like, you're going to be an actor. And where you going to do that?
Right.
It's like, because y'all think I'm going to stay here. Right.
Right.
Because it's one of those places that a lot of times you don't leave. And even if you leave, you come back.
I kind of see that everywhere, though.
Oh, absolutely.
I kind of tend to see no matter where a person, we from Cleveland, we Cleveland-based, Cleveland in the building. But, I talk to a lot of people around the country, and it no matter where they're from, they tend to go back, no matter how successful they become. Yeah. Is it because, we really have roots in where we was raised?
Absolutely.
Unless it's really just a place where it's like, there's no way in hell I'm ever going back there.
Right.
Just small town where we got one light, it's 1,500 people. That's an exception. But most major cities, if people leave to achieve their dreams, they come back. They say, I want a house here. I want to raise my family here.
Yep, absolutely. And the thing is, and I think it depends, too, on where you are in life. Because of everything that happened with Katrina, I cannot raise my children in that school system. Absolutely. I cannot. I'm a product of New Orleans public schools. I have worked in New Orleans public schools. I've worked in Cleveland public schools. And anywhere I've been, I've worked in school. I've always been a teaching artist as well as an artist. But because you got to have the next generation, of what you do. So I've always been a teacher. As long as I've done it, I've always also taught it. And I think theater is one of the few, acting as a profession is one of the few fields where you can have apprentice and master working together side by side the entire journey. It's not like you got to learn this and then you can come. We got 6-year-old babies in movies. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So it's one of those kind of fields. But I think, any urban center that has poverty has issues, but with the devastation of Katrina, it set that in, because it wasn't like, the school system is affected, all of the systems were affected, so it set everything back 10 years.
Gotcha. Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's not like I think it would be traumatic to pull my kids from where they are educationally and to put them in something that is not ready for them, because we are also committed to having them in public school.
Absolutely.
I think that's an experience that shaped both of us, you know. And while I went to public school, I also went to the public magnet in high school. I went to a HBCU, and then I went to a PWI, a predominantly white institution. So I have both experiences, and so does my husband. So I think both experiences are important.
Now speaking of New Orleans.
Yeah.
You were you did a one-woman play.
Yes, I did.
That was based on the Katrina
I did.
flood.
Yes.
So
yes.
Tell us about that.
Wade in the water. I had what they call survivor's remorse, because I was not there when it was happening, and we were all just stuck, to the TV. I had maybe my stepmother's family, we had 22 people we were trying to find. The majority of my folks, my dad's family were in Baton Rouge in Texas already. So, they weren't in the city proper, so it didn't affect that side of my family. But we were trying to find my stepmama's people for like 3 weeks. We were lucky in that we found everybody in 3 weeks. Because I had friends that didn't find people for months.
Right.
Because like if you were in the dome after that initial week, a lot of what happened, people came and they were like, get on the buses, and they just took them where they took it. Like one of my stepmother's sisters-in-law wound up in Oklahoma, so it was like how do you even begin to find people, But so out of that experience, my first reaction is always to express myself through the stage.
Through your stage.
Through a play.
Which is how most artists do.
Yeah,
no matter
absolutely.
if you're an actor, if you're a comedian, if you're a singer, if
Absolutely.
you're a hip-hop artist.
Right.
What we go through in life, that's when you stay original.
Yeah.
That's when you bring out the best of you. A poet, spoken word, no matter what it is, life, tragedy, hurt.
Yeah.
Those kind of things kind of tend to get a person to be more creative than happiness.
Yeah. No, what? True. You have to cultivate creating the art out of happiness. That's a skill.
Yeah.
It's easy to create out of your pain.
Right.
It is. It's easier to create out of your pain. It is a skill that takes a long time to create out of your joy.
Wow, that's a very profound statement.
Yeah. Because I've had to.
And joy don't sell.
No.
Joy does not sell. Case in point, I've talked to so many people that was like, I hate the happy Mary J. Blige. Which is so ridiculous because it's like, how can you hate when a person is happy? Because I don't like her happy music.
Well, right, because I can't bond with her in misery. Because misery loves company.
And people have, multiple people have said, I love the hurt and broken Mary J. because her music is so wonderful.
And that, you know what, that is an important thing to bring up, an important point, because if you are not authentic to who and what you are as a human being, as well as an artist, you will let the crowd drive you. Case in point, Tyler Perry. He was done with Medea, like he said in several interviews, and they have now, because he's strategic and he got the money to do it, has pulled those from everywhere and scrubbed them. But he said probably after and he had been doing Medea for like 10 years on stage before the first film came out, and maybe after the second Medea film, he was like, okay, good, I'm done and I'm ready to put her down, but the crowd wouldn't let him.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it takes discipline to be able to remain authentic to your gift, and to what you understand your purpose as an artist to be, because those voices are loud.
Yes, they are.
And
yes, they are. Because at the end of the day, we still have to be compelling to the followers.
Absolutely.
The followers make us who we are.
Exactly.
Without
we do it for them.
So if you stay true to you and you put out a movie that nobody likes,
right?
You're like, time to go back to Medea.
Right.
But Medea's in Rwanda.
Right. Oh God. No, please, please.
That was a joke too. Please don't let Medea Rwanda forever. Good Lord Jesus, please.
No.
Tyler Perry, please do not let Medea go to Rwanda. But back to you in New Orleans. So
I did Wade in the Water, and I've never actually done a full production of that one. I did staged readings of it, but Wade in the Water has 12 characters in Wade in the Water, and it's basically individual monologues. 7 of them are based on people that I know, and the other. No, 7 are based on people I know. 4 are composites of stories. And then there's a character who we mark the week from the point the storm hit and the levees break through her journey. She's like the transit. She's like the unnamed woman. And basically each time she comes back, the water is higher. And so we see her, and she's silent, and we see her navigating like piling stuff up so she can be on top of it to stay above the water. There's like a blue light that follows her up to the point.
And I want you guys to get I want y'all to get the visual of what she's saying.
Yeah.
Get out of your head plays that you've seen where you have, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different people part of this play. This is one person playing 12 different characters.
Yeah.
Now, how do you prepare for a place like that? Because, we've seen Eddie Murphy do the Nutty Professor. We've seen him, we've heard him talk about how he's had the tennis balls or different objects in the different seats to be able to talk to
Just
the
like
person that he's playing. That's how you prepare.
Absolutely. And with a director, because let me be clear, it's a solo performance, but it's not a solo show in the sense of I did it by myself.
Absolutely.
I cannot see myself. I have to have somebody who, because when I'm doing a solo show that I wrote, especially, it is very challenging not to be the playwright and the performer simultaneously. So I have to have someone in the room who can deal with the text as a director and say, well, what do we think the playwright meant by this? And act as if the playwright is not there, and do what we do with the text when we don't have the playwright in the room,
right? And
call me on my own crap. It's like, yeah, you know that because you wrote it, but the audience don't know that. So what you gonna do? Stop phoning it in.
Yeah.
Because it's also when you get to a certain level and people know, oh, this is like a particular gift you have, they'll just be like sitting there like, oh, she doing her thing. That doesn't help me. That doesn't help me grow, and that doesn't serve my audience. So I need somebody that's going, if your objective is not clear, ma'am, what is this?
Right.
Why is this character laughing the same way that one laughs? I have to have keen co-collaborators who can really put me through my paces. And like No Child is a very different kind of solo show. Some solo shows, it's like, I do this monologue and I'm this character for 2 to 3 minutes, and then there's a transition and now I'm a new character. But like in No Child, there were scenes.
Right.
And there's one scene where it's the teacher, the teaching artist, the security guard, and 8 of the students all in the same scene. And so I'm on stage like pop locking,
right,
switching from one to the next, and we had to like set up the classroom and understand in real time, this is where the teacher is, this is where the desk is, this is the chalkboard, this is where the teaching artist is standing, that's the door, this one's sitting here, that one's sitting there, that one's sitting there, that one's sitting there. So when you become Brian and he's looking at the teacher, his perspective is different from when the teacher is looking at him. So let's figure that out. And
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing, because as I'm sitting here, because I've seen the play.
Right.
I've seen both plays.
Yeah.
And I've watched you transition on stage from one character to another character. And I'm just sitting up here watching the play like, she's schizophrenic.
And then just in terms of the acting itself, I prepare for it the way I prepare for a play when I'm, in it with an ensemble.
Yes.
And I do all the work to build my character. I just have to do that for every character. I can't because I am my own scene partner.
Right.
So like I have to understand if Brian and Chandrika are having a fight, why does Chandrika keep repeating herself? And what is she doing? And like there's the scene there. So there's a scene in No Child where Chandrika keeps like interrupting the conversation, and it's like, why is she saying this right here? And I understood everything else, and it wasn't until I figured out, oh, I know what student she is. I've taught this girl. She absolutely refuses to move from the point she was making 5 minutes ago until y'all hear her. Right. So she's still there. So she's gonna stop everything in this room until y'all hear. Once I understood, oh, that's what she's doing, it was easier for me to pop in and be like, I'll do it, whatever she was going through. But that one took a while. It took a long time to figure her out. Yeah.
Are you guys listening to what she's saying? Because we hear people, actors say, it took all of this for me to get into character to do this movie. And we're talking one person.
Yeah.
diving their all. And how do you do that for 12 different people? We're talking a perspective of, I have to give you the perspective because obviously if you're doing it with other people, you guys' engagement and the energy, you feed off each other's energy. So it's like, if you bring it, I'm going to bring it. Let's give them the best performance they've ever seen.
Right.
How do you do that saying, okay, I'm going to give my all in Chandrika and also in Michael.
Right.
But you're the same person. There is no you Chandrika and somebody else is Michael.
Right.
You Chandrika, Michael, the teacher, the firefighter, this and that.
Empathy. You know, one thing I always teach my students and that I work with actors on when I'm the director. If you are portraying the character, you cannot judge the character.
What do you mean by that?
There are, in every piece, there's conflict, right? The basis of all drama is conflict. So you have what we call the protagonist, and that's the one that everybody in the audience is rooting for. And you have the antagonist. So that's whichever character is presenting the conflict to the one we're supposed to root for. But if you're playing the antagonist, you can't judge the antagonist because that's their truth, right? So the antagonist thinks they're right. The protagonist thinks they're right. So the most basic definition of drama is when two characters' wants bump heads. So this character has something that they want, and this character has something that they want. If these things are different, we now have conflict. Basis of all drama. But people are complex and complicated. And what I teach my actors, when you're trying to figure out things about your character, there are 3 basic questions. All my degree, every technique I've learned, all of that stuff, it's all different tools for me to answer these 3 questions. What do I want? How do I get it? What's in my way? Period. I answer that for every character. Okay. And that is like, what do I want overall in life? What do I want in this play? What do I want in this scene? What do I want in this moment? Right? And that's how performances are built. So I can't play he's angry. That's not a verb. That's a state of being, right? So the how do I get it is my verb, but I can't get that until I know what I want. So like right now, if this were a scene in a play that you and I are doing, my motivation as a character would be to explain, right? What I am acting right now is explaining. What I want is you and the audience to understand. If they don't get it, then I have to change tactics. I have to do something else. So then I might illustrate by giving you an example. Okay. Explaining and illustrating, similar, but subtly different, right? So that's how you build a performance moment to moment. So the thing is, if my character is what the audience will perceive as evil, and I, as the actor, say, well, this character is evil, I can't play that person with empathy. Right. I can't understand why they're doing what they're doing. So like thing you hear people say all the time is hurt people hurt people. So people become who they are because of the things that nurtured them and raised them and what they experience. So I just have to understand why that person is the way they is and play their truth, and play their truth. So in order to play all those people, I have to find my way to each of those characters' heart. Okay. And play their truth. Wow. I can't judge them. I simply have to present them. And be them. Yeah. Because that's what acting is. Yeah. Acting, acting is being... I remember somebody said. Yeah, being truthful in imaginary circumstances. That's what acting is. I know what character it was. It was from the movie Green Mile. What's the one's guard name? Percy. I hate it. I think everybody in the world who's seen Green Mile hated Percy. Right. And somebody said if you hated him, he did his job. Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Because the thing is, Percy got the way he is because of something. Right. And as far as Percy knows, I'm right. Right. So in order to do that, that's what you have to do, and so it's hard when it's autobiographical. So like Your Mama, which is shameless plug, the show that I'm taking to the Hollywood Fringe at the end of June. Come on now. Hollywood, we coming. Hollywood. Your Mama is my latest solo show, and it is probably my most deeply personal piece. It's autobiographical. It's not the story of my entire life, but is an important part of my life. So it's about my mother's death, gaining a stepmother, and then becoming a mother. And, there's a point where, I said to my director, the first director, what I don't want is for this play to be Nina's therapy session.
Yeah.
What I do want is for the audience to find themselves in some of these stories. My favorite playwright is Lorraine Hansberry. Mm-hmm. And when she was writing Raisin in the Sun, she had all the interviews and stuff. But she said, the thing is, we have to be able to find what is universal through the lens of the particular. So everybody understands having a parent and the possibility of losing them. Everybody understands the choice, am I going to become a parent or not? Right. Those are real things. And that people can empathize with. Many people understand having a step parent, and it's like, well, those are the universal entry points. Everyone at some point comes face to face with death of someone that they love, or whatever, and how that falls out for them in their life. So it's like my purpose for that piece was to let people know that they were not alone. My sister and I thought, because of the specific tragic circumstance of our mother, that we were the only ones who felt the way we felt.
Which is not true.
Not true. And I read a book by a woman named Faith Edelman, I think is her name, called Motherless Daughters. Mm-hmm. And she interviewed 100,000 women for this book.
That's a lot of women.
That's a lot of women.
I thought you was going to say 100, like 125.
No, like 100,000 women over the course of like 5 years. They all lost their mother, different circumstances. Mm-hmm. Some tragically, some natural causes, some to, disease, whatever. All different ages. Mm-hmm. But the experience of being a daughter losing a mother unexpectedly had a very specific set of behaviors that follow it. Okay. And she lost her mother, which is what sent her on the journey of writing the book. I read the first 3 pages of the prologue and I was messed up for 2 weeks because I was like, the idea that I am alone in this is a lie from the pit of hell.
Yes. And
when that dam broke for me, I suddenly felt free of a thing. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, I want women to be free of this thing. Right. And that became the motivation for the play.
Which goes back to what we said earlier about pain.
Yeah.
And people relating to pain.
Mm-hmm.
And there being an avenue of release, which you already answered my next question, because I was going to ask you, do you feel you reach people more when it's relatable?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But what I do understand about my particular purpose and my gift and the agreement that I made with God is that my purpose is to sow hope, period.
Right.
To let people understand that love exists. If God is love, then God exists. Mm-hmm. That's my purpose as an artist. It doesn't necessarily mean that I am preaching the gospel through my work in a very specific sense, but I know that that's my purpose. So that there are things that happen in the play that are tragic, but it ends in hope and love. There is an uptick,
Absolutely.
So yes, we come out happy. We come out happy at the end of it. You know what I mean? That's what my desire is. I think what surprised me about it the most is how many men relate to it. I expected women to relate to it, but I have so many men after I perform the show that come and say, I had a step parent and this was so real. I had this experience and my wife went through this when she gave birth and oh my God, you nailed it. And I'm like, wow, hi guys, how y'all doing?
I didn't know y'all could relate to that though.
I wasn't even talking to y'all, but it's all good.
Isn't that amazing? That's one of the blessings of being in the world of art.
Yeah.
You don't know, realistically, you do not know. You have a target or idea of who you're going to reach, but when you begin to reach other people or other races or other, genders or other, whatever the case may be, you be like, wow, this exploded way beyond where I thought it was going to explode to.
Yeah, blows your mind.
And that's what's so wonderful about arts. I mean, that's what's that.
I agree.
I believe arts is the best gift that a person can have in this world. Nothing against doctors. We need doctors. We need
Absolutely.
lawyers. We need,
Real
real estate agents. We need all that. But art, no matter if you put it on a canvas, if you put it on a stage, if you put it on a movie, if you put it in a song, if you put it on in a joke, art is amazing.
Well, this is how I explain it to people. If we believe we're created in the image of God, and God was, the first thing God did was create.
Girl, you better go ahead. I got an offering. Hold on. I got to put some gospel music on and just run around this studio.
But the first thing God did was, God spoke and it created something, So I believe that that's what I'm supposed to do. And you can be creative in business. You can be creative in medicine. Creative thinking exists in all of us, whether we become artists or not.
Yes.
Yeah, that's me.
Well, that's what's up, man. I appreciate you stopping by, taking time out your schedule. Now, I'm going to need you to go ahead and shout out your social media, because I'm pretty sure after this interview, you're going to get you some new followers.
Absolutely. You can follow me on Twitter at Real Nina D Glow, Glo. Twitter is Real Nina D Glow, and Instagram is at Nina, Nina, Domingue, Domingue, all one word. And I have all of my, and I have a professional Facebook page too. It's / Nina Domingue. You can find me there, and you can follow the work and what I'm doing and all of that stuff.
Y'all jump on that, because I promise you, once you start following this young lady and her journey, you're going to be so amazed at the things that she does. It's so much more. I got to get you back in the studio again to interview you, because there were some things we didn't even tap into that I wanted to tap into, but I just wanted to get them just a little bit of who Nina Domingue was. So be sure to follow her on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. Be sure to follow us too, Jay Stevens Radio Show on Instagram and on Facebook. Until next time, I'm your boy Jay Stevens. We out of here.
Peace.